Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. I hope you're all doing really well. We've got the latest Manchester United news, and Paul Pogba's transfer dream out of Manchester United is over. Pogba will be staying at Manchester United as things stand. We'll be getting into that in a moment, but also staying with Italy as well. Let's focus on the fact that just breaking news in the last few minutes, in fact, that Serie A has been voted by Serie A clubs, which is Italy, for the uneducated. Serie A will be back on June the 13th. So we've got Bundesliga football on Saturday. If you haven't seen our guide to the Bundesliga, it's on the homepage. That went up this afternoon. Enjoyed doing that. We're doing watch-alongs of Schalke versus Dortmund on Mark Goldbridge. That's football on Saturday afternoon, which will be the 16th of May. The 13th of June, you'll have Serie A football back. When will we have Premier League football back? Maybe the 20th of June, maybe the 13th of June. But look, I think that for a long time people have said Germany didn't get hit as hard as the UK in relation to deaths and infection rates. Well, Italy did, and Italy are coming back with their football. Does that mean that English football will come back? I don't know. But let's talk about Paul Pogba. This is big news. It's very big news, actually. It's coming out of Italy. It's coming out of Turin, Corriere de Turin, which is where Juventus are based. And they're saying that Juventus are going to cap their salaries next season to around £150,000, which will negate any chance of Paul Pogba coming to Manchester United. Now, David Amiel on Twitter, good account to follow, does the Calcio pod around Italian football. He tweeted last night that, as Fabrizio Romano has previously said, that Juventus are prioritising the midfield, but they're having to be financially creative to try and get Pogba in. And if that's not possible, they're going to look at Arta or Tonali. Financial creativity means player swaps. And we keep hearing about Juventus offering up Rabiot. There's more news around Rabiot again today. There's more news about Bernardeschi and Douglas Costa again. But this is not a deal that Manchester United are going to bite on. They're not going to bite on a deal of Bernardeschi and Rabiot and Douglas Costa because they don't fit. I mean, Rabiot potentially, but they don't fit. So, also, how are they going to pay Pogba the wages? I mean, look, I know that Real Madrid sort of pulled out of this race 2 weeks ago for the same reason. Financially, they just can't do this deal. Juventus are going to have to pull out of this deal for the same thing. So where does Paul Pogba go? And look, I don't say it to stir up trouble. We know that Paul Pogba wants to leave Manchester United. This has been well known for a long time, and we know that Mino Raiola is looking for that. But does this now mean that the new contract, which if Pogba's staying, I believe he has to sign, does this now mean it's going to happen? Because he's out of options. And some people seem to struggle with that, but Neymar doesn't want to be at PSG anymore. Neymar would rather be at Barcelona or at Real Madrid. That's without a doubt. But he can't get that move because nobody can afford to do it. And Paul Pogba's going to be in that same boat as well. He cannot get the move that he wants to get out of Manchester United. So he's going to have to settle in. And it's how long he's going to settle in for. Of course, this would be totally and utterly wrong of me to say Paul Pogba's definitely staying at Manchester United. I've been told this numerous times. I think we all know that the chances of Pogba getting his move lessen by the week. But if Sancho can get out of Dortmund, Pogba can get out of Manchester United. But to do that, Paul Pogba's going to have to do something that I have never seen any evidence of him doing, which is forcing the move, which is saying, I want to go, which is lowering and forcing his transfer value down, which is potentially taking a rather large pay cut. And I just do not see Paul Pogba doing that. So I see this as good news. I don't know what you see in the live comments. Let me know what you think. But if you're joining a little bit late, news coming out of Turin that Juventus are going to set a wage cap on their squad for next season, which will totally and utterly negate any chance of getting Paul Pogba, because Paul Pogba's on close to £300,000 a week at Manchester United. How can Juventus do that when they're going to wage cap their current squad? They cannot do it. And then they've got to try and find a deal that United are agreeable to. Unfortunately for Pogba, or maybe fortunately for United fans, that move out of Manchester United that looked nailed on before this coronavirus, spend most of the season injured, get back fit for the end of the season, go to the Euros with France, enjoy yourself, and then take your pick. Well, I tell you what, he can't sit back and take his pick anymore because his option's United, and it's it's ironic, isn't it, how it's worked out? Because I think the way this summer was going to work is United would have wanted to get something done quick. They would have wanted to know what Pogba's future was. And I think Pogba and Raiola would have gone, we're playing in the Euros. We're going on holiday. We'll tell you what we're going to do at the end of August. And United would have been left in the lurch, potentially. This way, United hold the cards again. Will he sign the new contract? I hope he does. I hope he does. Still an unhappy Pogba, though, potentially, says Demolition Diamond. Well, look, I think if Pogba ends up staying, which I think I've always felt that he would do, I think if Pogba ends up staying, he likes football. And he might be a little bit unhappy at the start, but I hope that when he starts playing with Martial and Rashford and Bruno, that he will respond to that. And he will respond to the fact that the team that he's playing in now is very different to the team that he played in before, where all the pressure's on him. I think the pressure will be shared. And there's a stronger defence behind him as well. So maybe Pogba will blossom in this team. And maybe, you know what, there is no positive to come out of coronavirus because so many people have lost their lives and there's so much misery out there. But from a footballing point of view, if we ended up keeping Pogba at this club for 3 years and he signed a new contract, we could look back on this and go, you know what, it's not a positive. It's not a positive story. But Pogba probably would have left without this pandemic. And he could end up staying now. And Manchester United have got on their hands, I believe, and I think many of you know as well, we still have got one of the best midfielders in the world on his day at our club. And yet we still have, legitimately, I think, for different reasons, fans that would say, I want him to go. He doesn't want to be here. I think he's inconsistent. So, look, I think, you can bring your Grealish in. You can bring your Van der Beek in. But if you keep Pogba on a long-term contract and he wants to be here, it solves a lot of problems. Are you 100% sure Pogba wants to leave, says Ash G? Well, look, I'm not Paul Pogba's mate. Neither are you, Ash. I don't know what Paul Pogba's feeling now. I think we know last summer Pogba wanted to go. I think we know in January Pogba wanted to go. What does Pogba want to do now? I don't know. I don't know that. You base your opinion on the most recent bit of news around Pogba. We know last summer he wanted to go. Mino Raiola came out and said he wanted to go. We know in January that Mino Raiola was talking badly about Manchester United and again hinting that Pogba wanted to go. So does he want to go now? Maybe he has changed his mind. But I would just say this. I was told last summer he wasn't going to go. I was told in December he wasn't going to go. Ollie said in middle of March, you can expect to see him here next season. I don't expect Manchester United to want to sell Paul Pogba, and I don't think they're going to make it any easier for anyone to buy him. So I don't think it's going to happen. And I don't think Juventus can afford Paul Pogba unless Man United go, you know what, we'll take your shit off your hands. We will take your crap. We will take Benedeschi. We will take Rabiot. We will take Douglas Costa. Now, they're not all crap players by any means, but why do we need wingers when we're going to get Sancho? Why do we need Benedeschi? Why do we need Douglas Costa? And Rabiot, to me, is a concern. Mark, can you rank in order these players? Greenwood, Martinelli and Hudson-Odoi, says not sure. Well, Greenwood for me is number 1, Martinelli's number 2 and Hudson-Odoi is number 3. But ask an Arsenal fan, they'll say something else. I hope Pogba stays, says Sean Turner. Hope with him and Bruno together, hopefully Sancho and a striker, we could possibly start getting back to where we belong on top. I agree, Sean. I do agree. I just, that's one of the reasons I want to see the last 9 games of the season, to be honest. I want to see that, I want to see how they gel. And I thought that might be a chance to make Pogba want to stay, but I think the reality is he may well be staying anyway. Pogba would rather go for free than sign a new contract, says Calvin Football. This is the issue, Calvin, and you raise a very, very good point here. Can I just say, if you want to get your Anthony Martial t-shirt, the link's in the video description. I'm wearing one. Mine came at the start of the week, which is great. But more of that later. I think that's the most relevant point here. And, can I sit here and honestly go, Pogba's staying because he can't get a move to Juventus or Barcelona, back of the net, boom shakalak. I mean, is that really something to celebrate, that he can't get the move he wants because the teams that want to buy him can't afford him because of the financial crisis? It's a win, but it's not the same win as, I don't want to go to Real Madrid and Juventus. I want to stay here and win things. That's the win. That's what we all want to hear. And we know that that's not the truth because Pogba hasn't come out and said that. So we're keeping Pogba because no one else can afford to get him. Not because he's declaring undying love to Manchester United. But I still think it's a win. But, as was said there, the other issue is this, that if he can't get his move this summer, Does he just wait a year to go next summer when he knows his price will halve because he's only got a year left on his contract? And that's not a good solution for United either. That's not a good solution, because if he won't sign a new contract, he'll definitely go next summer and he'll go for a lot cheaper price. And also, all next season, if there is a next season, we'll just constantly have Madrid are going to sign Pogba. Juventus are going to sign Pogba. Riola gobbing off. So, look, there's not a real positive out of this Pogba story until he signs, or if he signs a new contract. But if you're asking me, do I want Pogba to stay, knowing that he'll go next summer and we're going to have another year of unrest? Probably not. Probably not. But I know Manchester United would take that for a fact. I know Man United will take that. Man United will keep Pogba for a year rather than lose him now, even though they know he's going to go in a year because of the value of the player. Mark, Pogba and Bruno and Sancho make United better. The most obvious statement of the night, but a high five statement to that. And Philip Berman says, if Pogba stays, we will have a lot of depth in the midfield with Fred, McSauce, Bruno and Bellingham. Creativity and strength to hold up the ball for Bruno to score. Bring it on. Yeah, you know what? I'm happy. I'm happy with that. Do you think Chelsea are out of the Jadon Sancho race, says Destiny? I don't think the Jadon Sancho race starts until we get the football back and then we complete this season. Look, you know what? On that very quickly on Jadon Sancho, because I don't want to talk about Jadon Sancho. I think anyone who's talking about Jadon Sancho tonight is just regurgitating crap. There is no story about Jadon Sancho. There is nothing worth talking about Jadon Sancho at this moment in time. The reality is, what we know is what we've known for the last 3-4 weeks. Man United want to sign Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho wants to sign for somebody, probably Manchester United. Dortmund want a fair price for him. We won't negotiate with Dortmund until we know what's happening with football and until the transfer window opens. And when I say we won't know what's happening with football, we won't know what's happening with football until we know whether the Premier League's going to get completed. If the Premier League was completed tomorrow, Liverpool get the title, we get top 4, I would say we're going to sign Sancho. If we don't complete the Premier League, I would say we're not going to sign Sancho because the financial loss will be too severe for us to go and sign players, and we'll just have to crack on with what we've got. And let's not forget, if the Premier League does come back, if the Premier League does come back, then even if you played 4 games, it doesn't mean that we're not going to have a spike and have to go on lockdown again. We need that Premier League to come back and we need to get it completed. News is saying that Sol deal is done. Why is Pogba staying then, says Jat. I have not heard that Saul Niguez to Manchester United is done, because Saul Niguez to United is not done. And I don't think Saul Niguez to United will be done unless we sell Paul Pogba. And at this moment in time, I don't see Paul Pogba leaving Manchester United. But my stance has always been based on that, because I'll go off the information I had, and I'll also go off the information that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gave us in March. United don't want to sell Pogba. And Pogba will have to force this move, and I do not believe he will. And even if he forces a move, who's going to do it? Who's going to do the deal? Mark, we have the money. With or without the Premier League football returning, but if it doesn't return, then we may only buy him, says Jacob. No, Jacob, I think you need a reality bite on this. Manchester United have got money, and Manchester United can sign players if the Premier League comes back. A lot of clubs can't. A lot of clubs have taken... Look, if you take what Norwich, Mr. Webber at Norwich was saying on Sky this morning, even if the Premier League comes back, they are in financial difficulty. Bournemouth are the same, Arsenal are the same. Manchester United, if the Premier League comes back, will be okay. We can still probably sign players. If the Premier League doesn't come back, United probably won't be able to sign players. In fact, I would say definitely won't, because the loss is too big. You're talking hundreds of millions of pounds. We need the Premier League to be completed to get some of the money that we need to go and sign players. Do you think the signing of Maguire was bad scouting? Should United have spent 80 million on a centre-back that complements Lindelof? Do you think this time off has given Ollie the chance to work on his style of football, says Jack Brown 852. I think Harry Maguire was a good signing. I think long-term Lindelof will the team. And I like Lindelof, but do I think Lindelof can be a Premier League winning centre-back? No. Do I think Harry Maguire can be a Premier League centre-back? Yes. Winning centre-back, yes. So I don't have an issue with that. Yeah, I don't have an issue with that. What was the second point of the question? And do I think this time off will give Ollie time to work on his team? I think we would have seen a different United when Pogba and Rashford came back, regardless of whether he's had 2 months to look at his team. I think Bruno Fernandes makes us play differently, and I think we will play differently. Right, okay, I've just had somebody give me something here. We can sign Sancho regardless of Champions League football, says Martin Donker. That wasn't what I said, though, was it, Martin? Stick with the show. You'll get the most out of it. I didn't say we couldn't sign Sancho without Champions League football. I said we couldn't sign Sancho if we don't complete the Premier League, because every club will lose £100 million easily from the deal. Somebody just told me to check something on Twitter. It could be a load of crap. It could be quite exciting. Oh, so basically Simon Stone's just been talking about Borussia Dortmund and said that Dortmund expect transfer fees to go down, more players to move on loan and decisions to be taken later in reduced transfer window. CEO says, we want to keep our players at Dortmund for as long as possible. The less clubs interested in Jadon, the less we would complain. Obviously, that's coming back this week. We'll start to get a few quotes, actually. It's quite interesting. We will start to get a few quotes around German football because their football's coming back. So they're going to be doing press conference, etc., which will be interesting. I'm not going to deny that it won't be interesting. Okay. Zayn Miasi says, Mark, Kroenke has made 400 million from the current crisis, according to appears, and he will be using some of that for our budget for the summer. No, he won't, Zayn, because you've made players take a pay cut. So how can players take pay cuts and then watch the owner of Arsenal go and sign players on big deals? That's not happening. Rishiraj Kamath says, this would be Pogba's last contract. What wages will he ask, and can we afford it? If it's Sanchez money we can give in, we're doomed. You make a very good point there. And Illa United says he loves the Martial shirt. Links in the video description for that. Didn't even ask him to say it. You make a good point there. You make a very, very good point there. So what was said there was that this will be Pogba's last contract. His last big contract. He's 27. Can Manchester United give him the big contract he wants now? Can they give him the 350, 400 grand a week that he probably wants? No. Can Juventus? No. Can Real Madrid? No. So what do you do if you pull Pogba? Do you sign the contract now in a financial crisis because it's the best you can get now? Or with 2 years left on your contract, do you go, I'm going to sit and wait and see? Because this time next year, the financial crisis will hopefully be over and Real Madrid might be able to give me the 350k. Or Juventus might be able to give me that. So I'd say it's unlikely. What I think is going to happen is this. Pogba will stay at Manchester United for another year, and all next season, all we'll ever hear is about Pogba leaving. And then next summer he will try and go, because that will be the tipping point. And United will sell him cheaply because he'll only have a year left on his contract, but will have no choice because he won't sign a new contract. I predict that's going to happen. Because it is his last big contract, and because I don't think he necessarily wants to stay here. But at any point during that next 12 months, for example, if United shock everybody and next season we're playing so well, we're actually in a title race, Pogba might say, I'll stay here and sign the contract. So that could happen. But I don't think he'll sign a new contract now. Tom Hazelwood says, I wrote an article about next season with Pogba where I talk about all this, and incredibly, the United Stand website posted it. So thank you, says Tom Hazelwood. Thank you for the article, Tom. If you do want to get involved with the United Stand website, we are looking for long-term writers. I think the email is unitedstandwebsite@gmail.com. Do get involved if you're looking for a future in writing and you've done some writing yourself, because there's loads of good content on the website. So do get involved in that if you're interested. I personally don't want Pogba to stay, says Jonathan Gallagher. I don't think you're the only one to think that. I really don't. I think there's a few people thinking about that. A little bit of topical stuff before I drop back into the live comments as well. Very interesting that Manchester United players, a lot of them training. Rashford was at Carrington today for about an hour. A lot of players training in the parks and things, as we reported yesterday. They're expected to go back training next Monday and training little groups. What's the picture in the UK at the moment with regards to this coronavirus? Well, depends who you're looking at. I mean, it's a very bad situation. It's a very sad situation. And there's a lot of people still dying. But what I do, and a lot of people do, is when you look at the situation like this, then I think today we had around 400 and let's say, I don't know what the number is, but let's say 400 deaths reported in the UK, and every one of those are not just a number, they're real people, and it's very sad, and thousands of people have lost their lives, tens of thousands. Now, and the infection rate's quite high. But if you look at previous Wednesdays, it's coming down. And yesterday it was high, but if you look at previous Tuesdays, it's coming down. It is coming down in the UK. It's coming down every week compared to the previous week. It's still too high, but it's coming down every week. And if it keeps doing that, I believe we're going to see a change to the way we're living our lives, and I hope that we will see football back. But it's on a knife edge. It literally is on a knife edge, because we're talking about people dying. So we'll have to wait and see. As I said, people probably missed this, because I can tell they've probably missed this, because we've got a few people tuning in a bit late. June the 13th, Serie A vote to come back. So that is encouraging in relation to the UK if you want to see the Premier League back, because you can't compare the situation with Germany and the UK, because Germany have had less deaths and less infections. Italy had a horrible time with this virus, as we know, and so have the UK. So if Serie A can come back, so can the UK. The only thing I would say about that is that Italy locked down 2 weeks before us. So if they're coming back on the 13th of June, I don't think we'll be back on the 13th of June. I think the Premier League will try and get back around the 20th of June or something like that. But who's to say you can't? Why does the Premier League have to come back on a weekend? Why can it not come back on a Wednesday night? I mean, look, unprecedented times. Make Pogba join Newcastle. They have the money now. We'll get Poch, and Newcastle kit is black and white like Juve. Sasame Miasi. No. We want Newcastle to sign Lingard, Jones and Sanchez, I think. What do you think about Lingard's future as he is with Pogba's agent, and people normally join up with Raiola when they want to move, says Tex? Well, this is exactly what Fabrizio Romano said a few weeks ago, isn't it? And you're right. I just think it's... We don't know what this transfer market is. We don't know what it's going to be. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. I don't see Lingard's future being here, but I'm not necessarily sure another year of Mata's a good idea either. Another year of Pereira, but we won't. All three of those players are not going to go, especially not in this market. So. As I said this morning, check out the Transfer News show this morning. It doesn't look good in relation to Angel Gomez at all, does it? It really doesn't. And Leroy says, talk about Sol Niguez, it's all over the Mirror. Well, that sort of negates anything I would want to talk about Sol Niguez. But being as we're live, let's have a quick look about this, see if there's anything in it. Sol Niguez. I'm blue and da and dee da and da and da and dee da and da. Connor Dunny says, I'd kick my nan down the stairs and throw the piano on top of her like the Coyote and the Roadrunner used to do in Looney Tunes if it meant United could get Sol Niguez this summer. He's a supreme talent. Oh dear. I can't see anything about Sol Niguez. Oh, here we go. Let's have a look what this says. Man United close to joining 70 million Sol Niguez transfer close. In the Mirror. Oh, wait for it. So it's the headline. It's in the Sun. I mean, no. It's going to have to get better than that for me to start talking about Sol Niguez to United. But I like Sol Niguez. I think we all like Sol Niguez. But and Atletico Madrid will need to sell players. I'm not going to deny that they won't. But I think that we would all prefer Thomas Partey, wouldn't we? Let's be honest. Every elite team has a solid CDM. Busquets, Casemiro, Fabinho and Didi, while Matic has done a fairly decent job and McTominay solid but not world class. Don't you think we need to sign a Partey or a Ndidi, says Pratiush. I think, for me, going into last season's summer window, my priority was a CDM. Didn't happen. I still think we need a CDM. There is rumours that we're looking for one. my fear is that we're looking at Declan Rice, and I don't think Declan Rice is better than Matic. I think you should always buy somebody that's better than what you've got. And I think look, my dream would be Ndidi because he is just a specialist centre defensive midfielder. And you know what I find really stereotypically wrong is when, and we've all seen it, not necessarily in our live comments, but we've definitely seen it on social media. You say, I want to sign Ndidi because he's 23 and he's Premier League proven. And you get people saying, well, he's not really 23 because a lot of these Nigerian players, they're not really that age. I just think this is so stereotypically wrong because maybe there was a story in the past that there was a player from Nigeria that, was 18, but really they were 28. And it's just wrong. Like, he's been playing in the Premier League for however many years. And I think he's fantastic. And well, what you say, Garlo's 31 in the summer. What you're saying is not, he's really 40. It's just wrong to say that, isn't it? It's absolutely wrong. And I'd take Ndidi to, I think Ndidi is 23. Why would I not think he's 23? But if he was 27, I'd still take him anyway. I think he's one of the few centre defensive midfield specialists in Europe. And, if you look at, I don't know, if you go on a stats website, who scored or something like that, you can put any player in and it will tell you the positions they've played this season. If you look at someone like Jack Grealish, he's probably played, 25 games this season. They'll say he's played 10 as a centre attacking midfielder, 10 as a centre midfielder, and maybe 8 as a left-sided centre midfielder. You go and check Ndidi, it will be played 25 games, played 25 as a CDM. You look at Thomas Partey, played 5 as a CDM, 15 as a centre midfielder, 5 as a right-sided midfielder. Ndidi is a specialist centre defensive midfielder, and I would love him at United, but we won't get that deal done. Mark, did you hear Arsenal might be going for Angel Gomez and Smalling? It's time they join the Arteta revolution. Look, you know what? I won't lose any sleep about either of those. I really like Chris Smalling, and I think he'd make your defence good, but he won't make you title winners. And I think Angel Gomez, I would wish him all the best because he's not been given a fair crack of the whip at United, and I think there's a lot of United fans that would agree with me on that. He'd be one of those players that you wish all the best. It's like when I didn't think we were going to sign Bruno because we messed it up last summer. I said if he goes to Spurs, I hope he tears the Premier League apart because I knew he was the right player. And if we're too incompetent to keep him, I'm not going to wish he flops anywhere else. The same with Fabinho. I wanted United to sign Fabinho for 3 years before he went to Liverpool. And when Liverpool bought him, I didn't suddenly say, oh, he's shit, I don't want him. I said, I wish him all the best, even though it's at Liverpool, because I think I want to be proven right that I think he's a great player. And he would have been a great player at United, and he went there. So if Angel Gomez goes to Arsenal and does really, really well, why should we as United fans feel bad? Why should we as United fans wish him bad? We wanted him to play more football. Ollie decided to give Lingard too many chances, Pereira too many chances, and didn't give Gomez a chance. And I like Ollie, and I want Ollie to do well, and I think he will do well. But on the Gomez thing, if he gets proven wrong on that, it's going to reflect badly. But managers get it wrong. Sir Alex Ferguson let Pogba go. That was a mistake. He also bought Beppe and what was the other? Obertan and Jemba and Kleberson. So mistakes are made. MUFC says there's some breaking news that the Premier League restart has been pushed back to the 19th of June. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, because if you think about it, they're not going to be back training until the 20th, or not next Monday, be the 18th, which is 18th of May, which gives them about 3 weeks before the start of the season. I think that would be common sense. Alexander Muckle, welcome, the latest member of the United Stand Members Club. You're very, very welcome. Please keep smashing the like button and sharing the video, and get your questions in. James Rodriguez is to replace Suli at Atletico Madrid, says Neron. And Arca Gosh says, if I remember correctly, Gomez was injured for some time this season, especially at the time we were seriously lacking a centre midfielder. No, you're not wrong. He was injured, but he wasn't injured for all of it. There was plenty of opportunity to give Gomez time, and we didn't do it. And Mark, did you hear the rule you can't look at someone when tackling? Says Jonathan Galley. I don't take any notice of all this. I don't take any notice of you can't spit on the pitch. You can't look at someone when you're tackling. You can't celebrate. I think it's a load of crap. It might end up happening, but I think it's sensationalist bollocks. To be blunt, I do, because I think that what people don't understand is We are not going to have football where people can catch the virus on the pitch. That's not what this concept is. Look at what's going to happen in the Bundesliga. Look at what's going to happen in the Bundesliga. They are going to test their players before they go on the pitch, and everybody on that pitch will not have the virus. They won't have it. So hugging, spitting, tackling, so what? No one on the pitch has got it. And when they come off the pitch and they go back to their training, they'll get tested again. And then for the next game, you'll send 22 players on the pitch and officials who don't have the virus. That's what's going to happen. It's common sense to me. So we don't need to adjust the way we're playing, because if you're saying players can't hug each other when they celebrate, why the fuck are they playing football in the first place? Because if you're worried about them passing the virus when they hug because they've scored a goal, they shouldn't be playing, because the players and the referees and the officials on the pitch should have all been tested and they shouldn't have the virus. So that no tackle, no this, no that, it's a load of crap. Doesn't make any sense, and we shouldn't be playing football if that risk is there. We should only be doing this if they haven't got the virus. And it's the same as all the interviews you see on the telly. You know, when it's the BBC and they've got their big stick and they're holding it out like that, saying "stand away." It sounds a bit wrong, that, but you know what I mean. They have the 2 meter. The reality is, if I've got the virus and you are, hypothetically, by the way, and you come and talk to me, as long as you stay 2 meters away from me and I don't cough all over you, you'll never get it. Well, I wouldn't say never, but there's a very, 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 very slim chance that you'll get it, and that's what this is all about. So I find some of these things a bit silly. Mark, next season, Pepe, Martinelli, Aubameyang will light up the league. Come on, you Gooners, says Zayn Miasi. Look, mate, I'm not bothered. I don't think... I mean, you're on a United Stand channel. You've been very generous with your super chat, so thank you for that. But I would say that I do not care that... You know, if Arsenal are going to do well next season, as long as you don't do as well as us, I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered, because I think you've had a lot of banter at Arsenal. I think you've been crap for a very long time. And I would rather Arsenal was more successful than Man City, because you've actually got a history and you're actually a proper football club. As long as you're not more successful than us, I ain't that fussed. I'm really not. I'm past all that. I think as a United fan, it's nice to have a rivalry, but we ain't been good enough to have a rivalry these last few years. I just want us to get back into a situation where we're competitive again, and then I'll start looking at rivalries, because at the moment, I'm fed up of just hoping our rivals are going to be crap because we're not good enough to do anything about it. So I just want to focus on us. That's what I want to do. Hi Mark, hope you're well. Can we all as a community take a second to give Mr. Goldbridge a big thank you for keeping the United Stand going during this pandemic? You're a legend. Thank you, Wazim Ashraf. I think you'll be standing up and celebrating and appreciating me in silence, because I don't think anybody is really that nice enough to do it. But I do appreciate it, and thank you very much. And also, I just want to say thank you to all of you lot, because here we are, week God knows what into the lockdown, and for our however many years have we done an 8 o'clock show, and we're still going strong with 4,500 people watching on a Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. So I think, to be honest, thank you to all of you lot who still watch the show and still get involved and still give us all a bit of normality that we had before the lockdown, we'll have after the lockdown, and we've had during the lockdown. We said the first night of lockdown in the UK, we're not going anywhere, we're not stopping, we're going to keep doing it, and if people watch, people watch, and if they don't, they don't. But most of you have kept watching, and I thank and salute you for that, because that normality, that conversation every night at 8 o'clock has been a big help for me, and hopefully it's been a big help for you. So yeah, smash a like on the video for yourself and everybody involved in this community, and of course all the moderators as well. Maria, Smutty, I don't know whether Vandy Candy's there, Sally Devil Red 7's there, I'm sure Luke is there, Paul Robinson's there, George Kyle. I can't see if anybody else is in there tonight, but thanks to the moderators, they do a fantastic job as well. And thanks to everyone who's been watching Mark Goldbridge That's Football, the FIFA stuff. I mean that's been my escapism, I've got to be honest. And I tell you what, I'm very excited as well. If you've not watched the video, you might not have done because you've been busy this afternoon, but there's a video up on the channel, the Goldbridge Guide to the Bundesliga. So you can find out where everybody's in the league, the players to watch, who's at threat of relegation. It's only a 7-minute video. You can check it out on the channel. But more importantly, Mark Goldbridge That's Football YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and get your notifications on, because I'll be doing a Dortmund versus Schalke watch along on that channel on Saturday afternoon. I was going to do it on this channel, but then I thought, well, I might decide to do a couple of Bundesliga watch along. So, and although it's Jadon Sancho watch, I can just do it on that channel because I might do Bayern Munich on Sunday. I might do the Monday night game, which I think is Leverkusen against Werder Bremen. So I just thought, let's just host it on that channel. Muzzy Lion says, I agree, Mark. Thank you very much. Finally getting back to work next Monday. The United Stand has kept me sane. You're a legend, says Muzzy Lions. Well, look, stay safe, everybody. I know I'm a firm believer that we've got to try and get things back. We've just got to do it tentatively and carefully. But I'm one of those people that the lockdown wasn't for us to stay inside and hide. It was to help our NHS. If we stay inside and hide from this virus, we might not get it, but the world will just stop. We just can't do that. We've got to try. You know. The thing is, it's very easy to stay in at home and say I'm not going out. But how are you watching the internet? Somebody somewhere is keeping that going. The engineers. How are you getting rid of your rubbish? The rubbish is being collected by people. Where are you getting your shopping from? Well, you're going to the shop and someone's serving you, or they're delivering it. And where's that food coming from? It's coming from people who are driving lorries to move it from place to place. The reality is, not everybody's had the privilege to stay inside and stay safe. And they've kept this country going. And, it's going to be our time over the next weeks and months to play our part in that. We can't all just hide away because life will stop. Mark, we've finished above United the past few seasons, says Zane Miassi. How many trophies have you won, Zane? Tell me how many trophies you've won in the last 3 years, and then tell me how many we've won. And we're not happy. So if you are marking success on finishing above Manchester United, well, I mark success on trophies, and we're still not happy as a fan base. So, yeah, come back when you've won something. Baku again. Thanks, everyone. We have an amazing community on the United Stand. And Bentancur would cost too much. Loved the Bundesliga guide, by the way, says Dara Brown. Yeah, I know a lot of people enjoyed the Bundesliga guide. I think we might do a couple more of those video styles in the future. I quite enjoy a little bit of a change. If you want to get yourself an Anthony Martial t-shirt, the link's in the video description. You can get your Bruno one there as well. I've got the blue one, but actually I'm going to get the white one as well because it's a bit like blue French, white away French. It's the same styling on it, but it's just in white. Summer's coming. Get your t-shirts, link in the video description. They do ship worldwide. The only thing I would say is that the shipping time is a little bit longer than normal because of the pandemic. I mean, normally in the UK, you can expect to get it in about 3 to 5 days. I think mine took about 7 working days, but they will come out, and the link is in the video description for those. And again, I mean, I love the Bruno t-shirt. I wear it a lot. I've got it red and black, but the quality of the t-shirt is really good. The print's very good. And apart from that waistline that's getting a bit... I'll tell you what, how many of you have put weight on? Xander, who won the quiz the other night, he said to me, I've actually lost 7 pounds over lockdown, and it's been good because I've been able to focus on my fitness. And I was like, mate, I was never Mr. Fit anyway, but on lockdown, all I ever do is eat. It's my one comfort. So yeah, I've definitely put weight on, but the t-shirt's nice. I don't know why people are saying good night because I'm not going anywhere. I've just wandered off into different sort of self-patting on the back, patting you on the back. T-shirts link in the video description. I've not stopped yet. I'm cooking a curry tomorrow on Goldbridge Cooks. It won't be going up till Friday though, but I'm filming it tomorrow. People are still saying you were controlling Varane, says Sean Turner. I've watched it back, mate. Exclusive on the United Stand. I was controlling Varane. What happened is when I was controlling Varane, I slammed my controller down and banged the thing, and therefore wasn't controlling Varane, even though I was in control of Varane. So that's why he didn't sprint, and that's why he wandered off, and that's why they scored a goal. So Rage Bridge cost me that goal. But technically I wasn't in control of him, because if I was in control of him, I would have been sprinting with him. So basically, the AI gave me control of him, and I didn't do anything because I was raging, and that's for he didn't cover. So 50-50. Mark, love the Pro Club's idea for Blood Brothers. Is it limited to fans from the UK? I'm in Canada, so wondering if time difference would be an issue. Join Daniel. Okay, I don't think I've put the link in the video description of this, and that's a mistake on my part. So, if you want to enter the United Stand Football Club, we obviously played in the Blood Brothers League last year, and we did quite well. This year, we don't know because of the pandemic whether we can do it. So we are going to do a United Stand FC team, but it's going to be pro clubs on FIFA in a tournament. You will play for the United Stand on FIFA as part of a tournament. To get the players, we are running a FIFA tournament, and you can play on Xbox or PS4. The tournament starts Friday. It will be run by eSoccer Championships. You register to play. You pay your entry fee, which is a £5. There are cash prizes, but the best prize of it all is if you get through to the finals, you will be part of the United Stand FC Pro Clubs scenario, playing for United Stand FC in this Blood Brothers League. So the link is in the video description of the transfer show this morning, or my latest Mark Goldbridge That's Football career mode on Mark Goldbridge That's Football. Check it out, video description. You can do it that way. But yeah, anywhere, as long as you've got an Xbox or a PS4 and you can play online, you can play in the FIFA tournament. Mark, people don't realise that if we stay in until a vaccine comes, which it might not, the country will collapse, etc. We have to take calculated risks, or there will be no more tax money from businesses to help the NHS. Spot on, Zane. Do you think the early resumption of the Bundesliga will intensify the spotlight on their players and drive their price up like a World Cup, says Ash G? No, not necessarily, because you've got to have money to buy a player. I mean, if Jadon Sancho scores 4 goals on Saturday, his price will go up, but it makes him harder to buy. If Timo Werner scores loads of goals, it makes him harder to buy. I think you make a good point, though, because there's no other football. Everybody will be watching those players, so they'll be more in the spotlight. But the trouble is the financials. Who's got the money to buy them anyway? Here is your finished above United trophy, small club mentality, says Julian. He's done your little trophy for you, Zane. And Sean for Ireland says, hi Mark, there is no GAA here in Ireland this year for the first time ever, so anything can happen. Yeah, I was thinking about that. What's happening with like basketball, NHL, NHL? Is that a delivery service? National Hockey League. No, I was right. There is a bit of a story breaking about Dele Alli. Let me just have a quick look at this, because I'm not a big fan of the look, this is where people get lost. I think Dele Alli's crap. I think he's a really crap footballer, right? I would never want him at Manchester United, and I don't really rate Jesse Lingard this year. This is the breaking story. Dele Alli held at knife point during Robbery's home and sustains a minor facial injury. Well, that's disgusting. And my thoughts go out to Dele and his and anyone who was with him, because thinking he's not a very good footballer is judging him on his vacation as a job. I don't think he's that good. I don't know him as an individual, and no individual deserves to be held at knife point in a robbery in their own home. It's disgusting, and that can impact on him for the rest of his life. You know, he can be physically and not physically, because I don't think he's been seriously injured, but he can be mentally scarred by that for the rest of his life. If you don't feel safe in your own home, where do you feel safe? So that is disgusting. It happened to an Arsenal player. Was it Kolasinac last year when he was in a car with his wife? It's disgusting, but you know, there are bad people out there who do this sort of thing. So thoughts are with him, because it's not about football. It's about real life sometimes, and there is no football at the moment. So there's no reason to be saying anything about Dele Alli other than sympathising with that situation. I think some people think if you go, oh, I think Dele Alli's shit, that you take that view that he's a shit footballer to him as a person and go, I think you're shit, Dele. No. If I saw him in the street, he might have a go at me and say, I don't like what you said to me on Twitter. And I would say, yeah, but that's my opinion on you as a footballer. Let's go and have a pint. I don't drink. I'm training to be I'm a professional footballer. You see, you've got the right mentality already. High five, Dele. Off we go. It's judging a footballer. You're judging a footballer. You're not judging the person. And do we all do that, though? Do you, when you don't like a footballer, does it make you dislike them as a player, as a person? You shouldn't do that, because I'll tell you what, some of the people you idolise as United legends are tossers in real life. Absolute tossers. So this is it. Judge the footballer, not the person. Unless you know them personally and you know they're a tosser, you never know what they're like off the pitch. They could be the worst, most irritating footballer on the pitch and the best, nicest person off it. So judge the footballer, don't judge the person. I suppose that's the same as watching EastEnders, watching something on the TV, a politician, whatever. You know, you can get very angry with them, but you don't know what they're like off the pitch. NBA ran a player poll and players voted overwhelmingly to get the season finished as soon as possible. Baseball is going to roll soon with no fans, PMV Patrick. Yeah, well, you know. Wilmer says, dislike Suarez as a person. I can sort of see why. I mean, I think Luis Suarez is one of those people that it's stereotypical to do it, but it's hard to not think he's a bit of a twat. It is. I mean, the racism, the biting, it's hard to think that he's not. But you never know. He might be really nice off the pitch. You never know. Alan Casey says, I was once held at knife point. It's not easy. It's not, you know, because of the jobs I've done in the past, I've been to jobs where people have got weapons and all sorts. It's not nice. Unfortunately, I've never had that. But, you know, I've seen victims of it. I've seen victims of, you know, bad injuries. I've seen worse than victims of it, and it's not good. It's not good. Hamza says that Suarez isn't a racist. Okay, well, you know, everyone's got the right to opinion. And Riola played himself. It may take years for pricing and wages of footballers get back to pre-COVID-19. Only option for Pogba is to run down his contract. You might be right on that. He might run down his contract, but you know, if United know he's running down his contract, then United need to, you know, be very careful about how they do that. Here's a good question from Love Hate Games. He says, I need to ask this question to everybody. If football comes back and there is a second spike and they take away football again, what would your opinion be on that? I actually, that's a very good question. What would your opinion be on that? I actually expect that to happen. I was talking to Drawty about this today. I've got no scientific knowledge. Some would say I've got no football knowledge, but I haven't got any scientific knowledge. From what I've read and the things I've seen, I mean, look, every night I watch Newsnight. Religiously, I watch Newsnight every night. And High Five Newsnight Club. And I've been saying for a long time, and it's only a prediction, but if Piers Morgan can gob off about stuff he's got no clue about, so can I. I think that we will have a second spike worldwide in October, November time, because at the moment there is no... Forget COVID-19. At the moment, hardly anybody's getting flu. The normal seasonal flu, no one's getting it. But in the winter, they'll get it because it's a winter virus. It comes around in the winter. There are more colds in the winter. There are more coughs in the winter because that's just what happens when it gets colder. Why would this coronavirus not be worse in the winter? So I think it will be worse in the winter. Not just in the UK. It's not about how we've handled it. I'm not going to get into that. I think it will be the same in Italy. I think it will be the same in Germany, France, Spain. I think there will be a second wave with this virus. And why wouldn't there be? It's brand new. Why would it not mutate? Why would it not come back? So I think we will see a second spike. But I think we'll get in control of it up until September. I think it will drop off, and I think we'll control it till September. And then I think towards the end of the year we'll get another spike, and we may end up having to go into lockdown. We may not. I don't know. But how will that impact on football? Well, this is why, for me, I think we have to try and get football back. Because why it's dropping off and we're trying to get things back to normal, why would you not do sport? So I think we've got an opportunity to get football back, complete this season, maybe start another one in September, and then maybe that one will have to get shut down for a couple of months. That's what I unfortunately think is going to happen. Worst case scenario, I think that's going to happen. Best case scenario, we will have to live with this virus till there's a vaccine, but we will find a way to get back to doing most of the things we were doing before in a different scenario. So, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there is a second spike in the winter, and by then, hopefully we'll have completed this season, started another one, and maybe that one has to get paused for a bit. Lee Taylor says it was Ozil with Kolasinac, not his wife. Same thing. Joking aside, then people should be taken out of society. No, I think both their wife and girlfriend were in the car as well. Lee, I mean Zane might be able to tell us. I think you're right. Ozil was there with Kolasinac, but there was definitely women in the car as well. Yeah, definitely. Not sure. Mark, who do you think is bigger, Arsenal or Chelsea, as a rival point of view? I think Chelsea have been way more successful than Arsenal over the last while, of course. But Arsenal to me are the bigger club because Arsenal and United shared the biggest Premier League rivalry in the late 90s, and Arsenal are the next best team behind United in Premier League history. But not only that, Arsenal were a good team when I was growing up. I mean, Arsenal were winning titles. They won that famous one at Anfield. Was it 89? They won, that George Graham team was quite boring, but they were a decent team. Chelsea, for me, were a nothing team. I remember Chelsea getting beaten. I think Nottingham Forest beat Chelsea 7-0 or something stupid like that. They were a nothing team, Chelsea. Kerry Dixon, Mark Steen, Robert Fleck. They were just a nothing team. They were like a mid to lower league sort of team. Then they got money and they became one of the better teams in the world. So I think Arsenal are the bigger team, but Chelsea are the more recently successful team. Highlights of the United stand. I just love what we've grown. I just love collectively what we've grown. I love that when we started the United stand, we used to do one show a week on a Sunday night at 9 o'clock. It would be a Google Hangout, and we would have. And I remember we'd been doing it for about 3 months, and it used to tell you how many people were watching, like it tells you now. And we went past 100 while we were live, and Alex's face just lit up. He was like, "We've got 100 people watching," and it was just great. It was a great moment when we were doing it once a week, and it had taken us about 4 months to get there. And now to see what it is. And I remember what I always used to say when I was signing off the shows. I used to say, "Thanks everyone for watching. This is the United Stand. Real football opinion from real fans. It's your channel, and it always will be." And that's always been the thing. It's always been about the community. So I'm really proud of what we've built. It's not been an easy path. It hasn't been an easy path. Some of you've come and gone. Some of you've gone. Some of you've come new. But we have built something really special, and I'm really proud of it. And a lot of people now have taken what we've done and are copying it or doing it in a different way. But more importantly, I'm not bothered about that. They've taken more notice of fan opinion, which 5 years ago I don't think was really happening. All right, we do fan cams. There was people doing fan cams. Actor Pratt in front of the fan cam, say something stupid, and we'll go viral. Look, we do fan cams. That sometimes happens for us, but it's not the core of what the channel is. You're the core of the channel. The live content, the interaction. That's what the United Stand started before anybody else. And even if someone says, "Well, look, there was a channel doing live content before you," yeah, but were they doing it as well? Did they have the right community? Did they have this genius in front? No, I'm joking. But you know what? That's what we've done well. Every night at 8 o'clock we go live and we talk about something, and it wanders off into different areas. So that's the thing I'm proudest of at the moment. Look, I've got to play at Old Trafford. I've got to sit on a stage with Ryan Giggs. I've had world-renowned, world-famous rock stars emailing me. I've had Liam Gallagher talking about us on radio. So look, there's loads of little ticks in the box that make you smile, but ultimately I'm not somebody. I'm personally not, and I know Flex isn't as well. I know Drawty isn't as well. We are not vain machines. We are not bothered about that, and we are totally aware about why we played at Old Trafford, and it's because of you. It's because of this community. Some people who get a sniff of notoriety think it's because of themselves. They don't realise that without the audience, you're nothing, and to get the audience, there's a reason for it. So I thank you, and that's genuine. Mark, thanks for giving your honest opinion about Arsenal and Chelsea. I would rather believe your opinion than 13-year-old who is a glory hunter. Says not sure. You know what? I'm happy to talk about. I can't wait for the Bundesliga watch along on Saturday afternoon on Mark Goldbridge. That's Football. Subscribe. But no, I can't wait for that. And I would love it. If somebody said tonight Arsenal are playing Chelsea, I'd be so excited. I just love what this break has shown me is that I love football. I love football. I love Manchester United. Manchester United's my passion, but so's football. This is the first time in my life I've not had football for 2 months. I can't think of a time where I've not had football for 2 months. Because even in the summer, you've got transfer news, you've got pre-season friendlies, you've got major tournaments, you've got internationals. I think the most I've never not seen football is about a month. If you think you probably get the Champions League final at the end of May, then you get a few internationals at the start of June, and then you get your pre-seasons around the 12th of July. So it's around a month. we've had 2 months with no football. This is the longest in my life I've gone without football. I loved football before the lockdown. I love it during the lockdown, and I love it when it comes back. I love football. And I would happily watch Watford play Brighton. I would, because I love football. Which single club, apart from the bottom ones, do you think will be most affected by the COVID-19 situation, both financially and performances, says Joe and Daniel? Well, you can relate that to United. You know, United didn't have Rashford and Pogba before the lockdown, and we'll have them when we come back. So I think United will be in a stronger position coming back. I think Spurs will be as well. They had a lot of injuries. Spurs probably can't get top 4, but they'll be in a stronger position. You know, Mourinho's not going to have many excuses because he'll have Harry Kane back, Bergwijn back, Son back. So they'll be stronger. I think every club's stronger because I can't think of a club that's got injuries. But I think if you're Sheffield United, your chances of finishing above Spurs and United have been hindered, not by the fact that you've got injuries, but by the fact that Spurs and United are now stronger for the break. So I don't think I think some teams will be weaker because other teams are now coming back stronger. Financially, I don't know. I think a lot of clubs will be hit financially. I think all clubs will be hit financially. It's the clubs that don't have the buffer that will struggle. Welcome to Anaban Adakari Streams, latest member of the club. Appreciate that. And Son is back from Rambo training. Yeah, he's been on military service, hasn't he, Vandy Candy? I want to just give Vandy Candy a special shout out, by the way. Our moderators are absolutely fantastic, but I want to shout out Vandy Candy because he comes across and moderates on my FIFA streams. And today's one was particularly difficult for many reasons. And he was a trooper. He was absolutely brilliant on that. So I want to... Look, all the moderators are fantastic, but sometimes people need a shout out. And he was absolutely brilliant today. Alex R7's in the house as well. I hadn't seen him before. Hello, Alex. As is Hawkshead. I hadn't seen him as well. Can we get a word on your thoughts about the news that up to 10 Premier League teams are trying to block Newcastle's takeover? I don't know what's happening with Newcastle's takeover at the moment. That was from 442 FM. I'm not bothered about Newcastle's takeover. I mean, if they'd been trying to buy United legit, there's a conversation to be had there. But if they're buying Newcastle, what's the point in dwelling on it as a United fan? What I would say is, though, why did Man City get to be bought and people are trying to stop Newcastle being bought? Why should Newcastle not win the lottery? Man City won the lottery. Yeah, it's immoral. Yeah, it's not right. Yeah, they bought titles. But are Man City not being investigated? In fact, have Man City not been banned from Europe for 3 years for irregularities around financial fair play? There's evidence there that they've done something wrong. Now, they can appeal it and they can win it, and we must wait for that appeal. But at this moment in time, Manchester City have been suspended for financial irregularities around financial fair play when they're loaded. So, are Man City's ownership not dubious? So why should Newcastle not have the right to be taken over by billionaires? I just think it's wrong, and I think if Man City are one of those clubs, it's really wrong. So I don't have a problem with Newcastle getting the money. Yeah, it's going to make it more competitive, but you know, Man City were nothing. Well, no, that's disrespectful. Man City were never going to win. Man City were never going to be a top 6 club ever unless they won the lottery and got that oil money. So why should Newcastle not get it? What's so special about Man City getting that money or Chelsea getting that money? Why shouldn't Newcastle get it? You know, so I'm not really bothered. Hi, Mark. How can I be a United member? Says Matthew. Matthew, I can't pronounce your surname. It should say join underneath. It's not available in all countries, but it should say join underneath. Look, I've really enjoyed the show tonight. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. 2 things I'm going to tell you. We've nearly got 1,000 likes on the video, which is great. So smash a like. But also, if you want to get your hands on a t-shirt, we've got a whole t-shirt collection. This is the Tony Martial one. Links in the video description for that. We've got Bruno. We've got the 1999. We've got the green and gold. Check them out. Links in the video description. If you want to play in the United Stand FIFA tournament and have a chance of winning some money, but also playing for the United Stand FC Pro Club side, which will be part of the Blood Brothers TV series, go to this morning's transfer show. The link's in the video description for that, or go to the most recent Mark Goldbridge That's Football FIFA Career Mode, and the link's in the video description of that. Xbox and PS4, you can do that. Thanks everyone for watching. Speak to you all soon.